Today we're going to go over how I got the guitar tones for my entry to the February 2022 Bogren Digital Riff Contest. As you can see, there's a whole lot of guitar tracks here. Part of that's because I have them split up into quads and doubles so I can get the benefit of both wherever it's appropriate, but the tone is made up of 3 layers. Here's what they all sound like together. Let's take a look at some of the individual tracks and see what's going on. The main part of the sound is this amped sound. I'm using the Neural DSP Omega for this. I'm pretty sure I just loaded up the Blame the Plume setting, pulled back on the bass a little bit, and switched to the KT66 tube. I just like the way it sounded for this. Then I copied that same setting across all of the tracks. The real sauce, though, is in the speaker cabinets. I'm using 2 different IRs that are giving me different tones that are designed to complement each other. I have it set up so that half the tracks are getting one tone and half are getting the other. The first is this more mid-scooped sound. The second is this super growly sound with more mid-range to it. Together, they sound like this. This is something to always keep in mind whether you're using real amps or fake ones. A different speaker cabinet can change your tone way more than just swapping out amps or guitars can. On the way in, I have some compression to tighten up the sound, and some EQ to clean out the subs and to pull back on some stuff I didn't like. The EQ is slightly different for each tone. On the quads, I have 1 track of each tone on either side. On the doubles, I have 1 panned left and 1 panned right. Another trick you can do on the quads, although I'm not sure if I did this in the final mix, is to have 1 tone slightly louder on the left and the other slightly louder on the right. It'll give you a little more variance in your stereo image without making it sound lopsided. In this case, it worked out to have a different tone on each side in the doubles, but sometimes it won't sound quite right. Now, the final part of this sound are these tracks down here that I've labeled stringy. And what I'm trying to do with these is to add back in some of that string sound in the 1 to 3K range that doesn't tend to play too well with guitar amps. I have all the DIs copied with the same processing on each here. First, I have some EQ here that's removing some of the low end and pushing that region a little bit harder. Second, I have some compression here that's giving me a little bit more smack to the sound. Next, we're pushing all of that into this TSC Audio BOD overdrive pedal. That's basically just their version of a Sans amp, and that's distorting the sound in a way that does play nicely with that string sound we're trying to emphasize. Next, we've got even more EQ that's just getting rid of everything below that area we want. The amp tones are already giving us enough of this. After that, we have a limiter, and that's just containing the sound a little bit so we don't get any wild transients poking out above the tone. You can see it's not working too hard. Finally, we have this thing, and what this is doing is bringing everything back into phase with the original amped tone. There's a ton of plugins that do this automatically. This is just the free Reaper one, or you can do it by hand with a sample delay. But this step is super important because we're doing different processing to 2 copies of the same sound, so we can get some nasty phase artifacts if we don't do this. Here's what the complete stringy layer sounds like. And here it is with everything else. As you can see, I'm blending it in pretty low, but it's still adding a nice snarl to the sound. That's it for this. I might do another video later talking about how I got these into the final mix. Please let me know if you'd like to see that. Until then, why not like, follow, subscribe? After all, you've already made it this far.